I think, the most striking thing is just our ability to adapt to new working norms. Nobody could have foreseen the circumstances we're in now. Face-to-face communication obviously is very important, but also you start to realize the possibilities of higher productivity without the commute and the airports and airplanes and the logistics in setting up face-to-face meetings. So suddenly you find yourself very busy. I think we all share this observation. But I also think, more fundamentally, it's about the importance of focusing on the things that you have control of, and not to worry too much on the things that you do not have control of. These are my top of mind learnings. I think for all areas of the business, it's huge changes all around us. But I think it's also important to realize where's the starting point. Where are we today? There was a study done by Ernst & Young, EY. Basically, the research shows that many CFOs, the finance leaders, believe that their current finance function is basically not equipped to meet the demands the future will place on it. They talk to CFOs. Half of the CFOs say their current function cannot or does not have the right mix of capabilities. About 2/3 of them, they see even the finance leader role fundamentally changing as traditional tasks are automated or managed in shared service centers. So the research basically attempted to answer the question. So is the future of finance new technology or new people? And they looked at both areas. Eventually they concluded that it's actually both. What is very interesting for me is that our strategy in Blueprism is fully aligned with that view. So these two areas, the finance and the people. So the technology and the people. So on the technology, our view is that the technology needs to be owned by finance. It's not something that someone does for you and give you to use. This is the current paradigm. The technology should be something that is used by the finance team to enable them to transform basically from a reporting function to a data-driven decision center. It should not be a tool that an expert team develops and gives to the finance team the way a finance team receives an ERP, an enterprise resource planning solution. And I think Blueprism's key differentiator is that we're business-led. So it's a code-optional platform to be used primarily by business teams. And it allows the business teams to use this cutting-edge technology, including AI and analytics, to basically transform their function. So this is on the technology side. On the people side, the finance and accounting teams, they in the future will spend more of their time partnering and acquiring new skills. So they are the ones that understand their function and are capable of driving and transforming their function using new skills like automation. So we see automation as part of both the technology as well as the development of the people in terms of growing their skills. And in this case, we're talking about automation, both in terms of expanding the skills to include automation, which basically results in the finance team focusing on high value activities and thus becoming better partners, if you will, for their business. So this is how we see the future of the finance teams. We have a strong point of view of how customers should start when it comes to successfully scaling automation. As in any function or business, you start by formulating a vision, and in order to formulate a vision for your function, in terms of both the technology and the people aspects, the first step is just being clear on the possibilities. So what are the use cases? What are other customers doing that automation can bring? And so Having this broad view, it is very important to establish this vision that clarifies their objectives as a business function, including developing automation as a core competency for the team, for the finance team. Only when you have a vision, you're able to start on a successful journey. Sometimes we see customers start immediately automating a process without a vision of what they're trying to achieve long-term from automation. Practically speaking, our recommendation is to start along two simultaneous, and maybe it sounds, conflicting tracks. But we recommend that customers start small, but on an important process that addresses an important business problem. And at the same time, and equally importantly, using this initial automation to build this internal competency within the finance team for automation. Essentially, think big, but start small. Actually, it's along the lines that we're recommending to customers. So we use automation, we use digital workers. So we look at it again as two pillars: the technology piece, and having the finance team be empowered and develop themselves to be able to use this automation, and at the same time developing skills where they can partner better with the business. I mean, you see that. I mean, our finance teams are genuine partners for us in the business. And so we are kind of preaching what we practice, developing along the two pillars: the people and their skills, and the technology in terms of the function itself, the finance team, developing themselves around the area of automation. And they own the automation. Nobody does it for them. They're the ones that are actually performing the automation. So basically, we're recommending what we're actually doing internally. I think I'll just go into more detail in terms of how Blueprism's approach to automation is really built on the two foundations for transforming the finance and accounting function. The ones I mentioned, the technology bit and the people skills. And we see technology as a key enabler, but also it is a key enabler for the people development on the people side by empowering them and getting them to own this automation. So that's the first thing I hope to be able to convey. The second is to share with your audience and with the professionals in the finance and accounting function what separates customers that actually successfully scale their automations owned by the finance team from those that don't, and learn more about our point of view when it comes to scaling automation, not only starting but scaling automation. I hope to be able to share these two areas of our point of view. I think if you look at these two areas, the technology bit and the people bit, if there is a theme that cuts across both, it's the empowerment of the finance and accounting teams to drive their own destiny, to transform from a reporting function to a decision-making center, data-driven decision-making center across both dimensions, the technology and the people. People partnering and acquiring new skills, including automation and technology. Automation is one of them, or robotic process automation is one of them. And they kind of feed off of each other because we know that the current teams are not equipped for the future. And to get to the future, the overriding trend that we see it is the empowerment of the finance and accounting teams to drive their own destiny, focusing on the both two pillars, the technology as well as the people skills. I do, but I don't know who who coined the phrase, but it figures prominently in my thinking, and maybe it's actually quite appropriate for the times we live in. It's basically, don't worry about the things you cannot control, and focus relentlessly on the things that are actually under your control. That has been something that helped me when the going gets tough.